Howdy y'all, Caleb here. Quick video on 3 lists that have done really well over the past 2 weekends. So all 3 of these are Thunderquake lists. We have one that's shown here on screen that went 5-0 and 2 that went 4-1. So our best performing list this past couple weekends are monster heavy lists. That's pretty interesting. Now I wasn't expecting to see that as I was doing some research, looking at what was doing well. So we're going to look at these real quick and see what they took for these lists. So the first one is Michael. He was playing Thunderstrike GT number 3. So he is taking Thunderquake Starhost. He's got 4 drops in this list. His spell lore is the Lore of Primal Jungles. That's the free one. You don't have to pay for that. Manifestation lore, Aether Rot Machineries. That one's also free. So on these 2, we've got Primal Jungles, which a lot of times you're going to be using the healing spell for, because it has a spell that lets you heal up your monsters, and also a Empower Celestite spell, which is really good for some Aggradon Lancers or Source units. If you wanted to spend that, you can give them an extra rend on their weapon attacks. So that's what those are. Intercept and Recover as battle tactics, so you're looking to kill things, and Master the Path, so control some objectives. So okay, I like those. Generally, you're not going to get Master the Paths the third. The Domination one, could be very difficult with a monster heavy list, but maybe he's able to do it. So General's Regiment, we have the Scourge of Gyran Carnosaur. We see that popping up a lot. Very good War Scroll, a lot of fun. A fragile monster, but can dish out some good damage. Incandescent Retresses to help it heal. Beastmaster to make itself and cavalry and monsters faster while they're around it. Very good to buff the rest of the list. Ancient Defender, which makes the damage from the Carnosaur's attacks more consistent. That gives you a +1 to attack on the Carnosaur's attacks. So you're going to be doing more damage there, and you won't have to spend a command point on that. I like that. Reinforced Aggradon Lancers. That's kind of your hammer here. We have a Stegaggeddon with a Sky Streak Bow. I haven't seen Stegaddons popping up very much, but we're going to see them a lot today in this video. Regiment number 2 is the Stegaggeddon Chief. And the Stegaggeddon Chief and the Stegaggeddon pair up really well together because they both have very interesting monster actions. Stegaggeddon Chief will potentially do up to 5 mortal wounds when it charges, and the Stegaggeddon can do some mortal wounds and then make some interesting moves on that monster's action. So you do have some interesting play there. Pair that up with the Carnosaur up there to shut off commands, and you get all these things charging in, and you end up doing some cool stuff. Also, Bastiladons Arc of Sotak has a really good monster's action in it as well that does D3 mortal wounds to a bubble around it. So you can kind of see a theme there. Skink Oracle on Troglodon also has an interesting monster's action that makes the enemy -1 to hit. So once you get all these things charged in, you have enough variety here that you're going to have monster's actions on all of these. I guess monster's actions isn't the word anymore. Rampages now? Whatever it's called. They change it every edition, it seems. All right. Third regiment is a Skink Starseer, a 2-cast wizard. So we do have 3 casts in this list. 1 from the Troglodon, 2 from the Starseer. And the Starseer has an ability once per game to give off a 5-up ward to a unit that's within range of it. So you generally don't do this turn 1. You'll probably wait till turn 2, maybe 3 if you're feeling lucky there. You're rolling some dice. You might get a 5-up ward on something or not. I think which is a great ability. Don't get me wrong. I love when that goes off. But its best ability is it can shut off wards. It has a spell that can shut off wards, which is just critical in Age of Sigmar because there's a lot of wards floating around out there. And then we have an Engine of the Gods, which can help heal up all your monsters. Plays kind of a support role, but can charge in, and it does the same amount of damage as like a Stegaggeddon. Just doesn't have the shooting that the Stegaggeddon does. So Engine of the Gods, very good. Will heal up your stuff like your Bastiladon or your Skink Troglodon that's already healing, or your Carnosaur that already has healing via Incandescent Retresses, or you're healing from your lore. So you have some good options to keep these monsters topped up. And add to that in Thunderquake they do get, I don't think I said that, they do get +2 wounds on their characteristics. So they have some extra health there. He is paying for the Realm Shaper engine, so I'm looking to probably see one of these, camping by it to do mortal wounds consistently from that Realm Shaper engine. All right, very cool. Some good stuff. I haven't seen Stegaddons lately, and it's kind of interesting to see them popping up a lot, especially the last 2 weekends. So well done, Michael. All right, next up we had Austin. He went 4-1 at a GT. Only salons free this month. We've got Thunderquake, 3 drops. So both these lists aren't afraid of going high drops. There is a buff for that nowadays. You get to re-roll a priority roll if you have more drops than the opponent. So a very good ability. Don't be afraid to go high drops. He is paying the extra 20 points for Celestial Manipulation and paying the extra points for Morbid Conjuration. So with that, we've got some good spells to cast here. We're paying for them. I want to see a powerful caster, which we do. We have Lord Kroak. Lord Kroak is popping up in this list. Very cool. All right, Intercept and Recover. So kill off 3 units that the opponent chooses. And then Restless Energy. So Restless Energy has a very easy first one. It gets a little bit harder. Generally, you just have to kill off the opponent, table them to get Restless Energy. It's kind of one of those battle tactic cards that you win if you just destroy the opponent. In our first regiment, we have Lord Kroak. Very good caster. Can randomly die if he takes a whole bunch of damage, but he is extremely hard to kill unless you just roll extremely poorly on his Dead for Innumerable Ages ability. Generally, he stays alive unless he takes a lot of attacks. He can do some mortal wounds at range. Very good mortal wound output as long as your opponent isn't just hiding in obscuring terrain. So, on boards that don't have a lot of obscuring terrain or it's hard to turn objectives into obscuring, he's going to do very well. Kroak will also punish people if they are not, within an inch of that terrain piece, or if they have to move out of obscuring. Kroak can then punish them pretty heavily with mortal wounds. A Bastiladon with Solar Engine, kind of reach out and shoot somebody. It's not great shooting, but it's some of the better quality shooting that we have in Seraphon. It's still a hard target to kill, and sometimes you'll spike it. It does do crit hits on 6s, and sometimes you roll hot, and it's 3 damage each, and sometimes it'll surprise you and just jump out and really bite somebody. That's always fun. A Hunters of Huanche with Dart Pipes, those are the cheap ones, just a unit to move around the board. Ambush in, capture objectives, screen if you need them to. We have not 1 Stegaggeddon, not 2 Stegagedons, 3 Stegagedons, and a Stegaggeddon Chief in this list. That's awesome. I ran a lot of Stegaggeddon back, edition or 2 ago, and so I'm excited to see a list like this doing well, and this is really cool. So we have some. I'm not going to say it's great shooting, but we do have quite a few units that shoot here in this list. This Bastiladon shoots. These 2 Stegagedons have shooting that are all multi-damage. They're all 3s and 3s, not great, but and really we don't have any buffs in our army to buff them up like you do in other armies. This one has shooting, and your Stegaggeddon Chief has shooting. So you have quite a bit of output there if it all hits, and you could have some great turns where you're just doing a bunch of damage. Skink Starseer with Kotal Familiar. So he is paying 20 points for that. I don't think it's marked here. So hopefully that one does cost. So hopefully he did that correctly. But that one will give the Starseer an extra dice on a cast, which is very good if you're trying to get out some Morbid Conjuration spells, or if you want to really make sure and deny the ward for something. A lot of times I'll use it for run and charge, but I'm guessing you don't really have a lot of run and charge here in this list that you need. You're probably not YOLOing a Stegaggeddon into something right off the bat. Although you could, because your Stegaggeddon Chief here does have Beastmaster, which gives him +2 to move, and all these other monsters +2 to move. So that's really cool. He does have Armor Cruncher, which means when you get into combat there with the Stegaggeddon Chief, you have a chance to reduce the save of the enemy by 1, which makes all of these Stegaggeddon attacks a little bit better. So right now, all the Stegaggeddon's attacks are at -1 rend with Armor Cruncher, maybe with your Purple Sun in. Now all of a sudden, those Stegaggeddons are at -3 rend effectively. So that's pretty cool. Once you get that combo off, that makes it really nice. We also have a Bastiladon with Arc of Sotek to do its mortal wounds, and then a Realm Shaper Engine to play with. So very cool. lots of good casting. There's lots of potential for some mortal wounds and some shooting in the list. A little bit of melee, not a ton of melee, but a lot of things may have trouble dealing with this many Stegaggeddons. So cool, I like it. Well done, Austin. And the last one is Alex Donkin. We saw him last time I did a video like this, and he was running all Aggradons and doing really well with it. This one, he's got Bunker Fawn. So we have a Seraphon bunker list, and I love it. It's great. So he's Thunderquake, 2 drops, Restless Energy, and Intercept and Recover. Lore of Primal Jungles to heal up these monsters. Aetherrot Machineries. So that's one of the free ones. Maybe you're just taking this to get some spells out on the board. None of them are really that great. If I was looking to charge a lot in this list, then your cogs become useful. Maybe you're just using cogs to help protect Lord Kroak, make him -1 to hit, which will make him tougher to kill. Swords is a good one to get out there as like a teleport blocking spell. So I think Aetherrot is a good one. It's free, so you can't argue that. You do need something to cast with Kroak for the turns that he's not within range. Realm Shaper Engine, which will come into play here in a second. So you're paying for the Realm Shaper Engine. Let's look at this though. We have Lord Kroak. Let's quickly go over these units here. We got a Bastiladon with Arc of Sotek, Bastiladon with Arc of Sotek, 2 Bastiladons that are shooting, a Skink Oracle on Troglodon with Beastmaster to make all of them go faster, and Incandescent Restresses, so now this Troglodon's healing twice. An Engine of Gods for more heals, especially for all those Bastiladons. That'll be super good. And then 2 Hunters Flanches with Dart Pipes to be ambushing. What I really like here, and I don't know that I've ever seen anybody take this yet. I haven't looked at every single list out there, obviously. But Titan of the Land on the Bastiladon Arc of Sotek. I love this. I love this. I thought this is such an interesting play here, but I haven't. I don't think I've actually played it on the table yet. So I'm excited somebody's playing that and doing well. So here's what it does. If you don't remember, this allows this Bastiladon, and it's an enhancement for a monster here. It allows this Bastiladon to act as a terrain piece for the sake of the Realm Shaper Engine's ability. So you have a wizard next to Realm Shaper Engine. Your Bastiladon is in combat with someone, and now you can do mortal wounds in your hero phase to whatever's in combat with that Bastiladon. And so that's cool. It's just an extra ability to get mortal wounds. So now you've got Kroak's mortal wounds, you've got Realm Shaper's mortal wounds, you've got Arc of Sotek's mortal wounds, all going into those units. So once you line this up correctly, it's gonna hit. You're gonna do a ton of mortal wounds. I love it. I love it. So very cool. 4 Bastiladons, Engine, Troglodon, still somehow managed to fit Kroak in there, and then got some ambushing units. So very cool. I can imagine this bunker, you're setting up with those Arc of Soteks, Kroak kind of in the middle, you're shooting Bastiladons behind them, Troglodon right there in the mix. But you can shoot your mortal wounds through the Troglodon too. Well, one time from Kroak. So very cool. Very cool. You might even play, nobody's going to want to come attack this bunker. This is a hard bunker to play into. So depending on what battle plan you're playing, if you get a good battle plan with this, it's gonna be extremely difficult to crack this bunker open. If it's a list that causes you to spread out more, it might be a little bit more tough. If you have to do something that causes a lot of movement, it might be a little tough here. Your Troglodon can go pretty fast, but that's about it. So, but awesome. Great job, Alex. Obviously a good player. He's been doing well with Seraphon, where many of us are struggling. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. 3 Thunderquake lists. All right, I've got no excuses. I gotta get back to Thunderquake. That's always been my first love. So, I need to go figure out a Thunderquake list and do well with it. All right, guys. We'll see y'all later.